Hello. In case you missed it, ambulatory wheelchair users exist. An ambulatory wheelchair user, sometimes called a part-time wheelchair user, is a wheelchair user with a limited ability to walk, or run, or dance, or climb, among so many other possible things. As an ambulatory wheelchair user myself, I'm often asked, why would you use a wheelchair if you can walk? The fact is, wheelchairs are not just for people with no mobility in their legs. Wheelchairs are mobility aids for a variety of different disabilities. People may need to use a wheelchair, whether manual or electric, due to chronic pain, fainting spells, lack of stability, dizziness, chronic fatigue, muscle, joint, or skin fragility. Some people have occasional periods of paralysis. They might have lung or heart conditions, and the list goes on. Wheelchairs can also be used preventatively to prevent flare-ups or worsening symptoms. A wheelchair user's abilities and limitations can vary greatly as well. There can be time limitations, distance limitations, speed limitations. It can depend on the type of activity. Like, for example, some people may not have a problem at all walking, but cannot stand still without triggering their symptoms. And some people, vice versa. That being said, being able to walk without a mobility aid does not equate to being able-bodied. A personal example would be if I needed to go out and didn't have my wheelchair, I would still need to park in the disabled parking space because maybe I can make it the 15 steps into a location and have a seat right away, but I wouldn't be able to make it any further than that. My disability is a figurative timer on my legs. So just because I may be able to walk a few feet into a location does not mean that I'm not disabled. This misconception and lack of awareness for ambulatory wheelchair users largely comes from media representation and harmful tropes, like the fake disability trope. You know the one. You've seen it numerous times where a wheelchair user gets out of a chair to reveal they were faking it all along. But how many times in media have you seen a wheelchair user get out of their wheelchair and it be treated as a casual thing? I promise you, not nearly as many times. As rare as it is to see a disabled character in media, we see even less of the diversity of the disability community, and that is severely needed. You can be an ally to ambulatory wheelchair users by confronting the falsehood when seen and rejecting stereotypical and harmful tropes. If you see someone accusing or harassing someone for faking their disability because they got out of a wheelchair, don't be a bystander. Ask them if they need help. But most of all, don't be that person. Don't harass disabled people just because you think they might be faking. You are very likely to be wrong. There's so much that the average person doesn't know about disability, and you risk harassing and traumatizing the very people that you claim to be protective of. Thank you so much for listening. If you appreciated this video, please consider becoming a Patreon and subscribe if you haven't. And I will see you eventually. Bye.